Keisha B, and I am so excited to be with you guys today. There are a lot of things happening here in Highland Park, right? And so, with those changes, are effects that residents have, right? So everything that happens in Highland Park affects the residents. And so today we have one of those residents who is known. Everybody knows who he is. Okay, he's known for his community engagement, his diligence amongst the youth. So I am excited because we cross paths a lot. I am excited to have Karan Wilkerson Sr. in studio with me today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Thank you for
Yes.
joining me on the show. So I know we cross paths a lot.
Yes, we do.
Right? And
Yes,
we
we
always
do.
have a good time when we do.
We do. Absolutely.
So today, I just want to kind of have a conversation with you.
Okay.
Because I know that you are here in Highland Park, but you're such an intricate staple here.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows who you are.
Yes, ma'am.
And so you've made a name for yourself. So I kind of want to just dive into who you are.
Mm-hmm.
So can you give me a little bit of history about how long you've lived here in Highland Park and,
Yes.
roots?
Absolutely. So, I was born and raised here in Highland Park. Grew up on Buena Vista, Massachusetts, in Highland Park. Went to Highland Park High School. Went to Bright Elementary School. Went to Barber Middle School.
Okay.
And I actually went to Liberty Middle School for a short spell also. But yeah, so I'm a natural Highland Parker. Worked at the Ace Hardware on 6 Mile in Oakland. That's not quite Highland Park, but right outside of Highland Park right there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been here for a good while, and Highland Park has been really good to me.
That's awesome. So let me ask you this. In what ways have you been involved in Highland Park community over the years?
Okay, so yeah, before I actually moved to Texas for a little bit, but before I moved to Texas, my friend
What part?
Houston, right outside of Houston. But right before I moved to Highland Park, a friend of mine, Rashid, and we were working on Highland Park gardening center right at Brush and Davison.
Okay.
A little building that we had acquired, and we had fixed it up, cleaned it up, and started growing a little garden over there. He's actually still working on growing gardens throughout the city. So I appreciate that. But outside of that, worked along with Highland Park alumni a little bit, worked with the seniors in Highland Park, have an opportunity to work with Mayor McDonald some. But most importantly for me, it's been about being involved with the youth and trying to help guide them in any way that I can. And I will be honest and say I've used music as a veil for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you kind of brought that part up. So let's go ahead and talk about it. So talk to the audience about your business and what inspired you to start it here in Highland Park.
Okay. So everything that I've ever wanted to do, I wanted to do it in Highland Park. Before when I left to go to Houston, I went to Houston for one reason and one reason only, was to build myself up stronger so that I can come back and give to my community. When I left here, my heart was way bigger than my wallet was, and I felt like I was being pulled and tugged in a lot of different directions. And although I was able to help people, I wasn't able to help them in a way that was impactful enough for me. And people looked to me for guidance because they looked at me as being an intelligent person, but there were things that I still needed to learn and know for myself. And it was kind of hard to learn that under fire. So I kind of went to reestablish myself with goals and dreams to come back here to Highland Park and start my business, which we did 6 years before I moved back here with my son.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we started Rock Local in 2018 when we first moved in. 2019 is when it became official.
Wow.
Yes.
Rock Local.
Yes.
So what is Rock Local?
Rock Local Entertainment Cafe is our venue rental space where we also have a recording studio, a podcast studio, and we also offer full printing services.
So anybody can utilize your facility?
Yeah, so in terms of rental space, yes, anybody can utilize our facility throughout the day. You can come in and use the free Wi-Fi. We have very, very inexpensive print services if you need to print out resumes or anything like that for a job. you can come and take care of it there. If you don't have the money, we don't really care. We just want to make sure that you have what you need in order to, move to the next step in life.
Okay. So, with the establishment of Rock Local, how has that positively influenced the community here in Highland Park?
Hugely, in a way that we've been able to develop a core of young individuals that's been working really hard to be volunteers and impact the community. So we've partnered a little bit with Avalon Village to do multiple events. We're always over there volunteering with functions that they have going on whenever Highland Park events come up, such as we did a senior day. I was able to call all of my youth from Rock Local to come over and help out with music, entertainment, media, things like that. So all of their skills and talents that we help to nurture and grow over there, we try to bring those skills out and use them here in the community also.
That's amazing. So, approximately how many youth do you think come through the doors at Rock Local?
It's 40 of us in our group that's called Jewels of Detroit, and that comes through the doors of Rock Local throughout the course of a week. I would say probably about 500 to 600 young adults.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah.
Okay, so are there any specific like events or courses or anything like that you do for the youth?
Okay, so currently right now, Rock Local is housing a program called Dream Tech that happens from Monday to Wednesday, 9 to 3 every day. And what that program is an internship for kids that's on the spectrum to learn different skills, gaming, constructions, hair, braiding, and things like that, and they get paid for it.
Wow.
Yep, they get paid for it, and a lot of our leaders within JLD are coaches over those programs. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of it's all in synchronicity with one another. So everything that we do with the JLD is in synchronicity with what we do within the community. Is also in synchronicity, and that program, Dream Tech, also uses the rest of our community to bolster those kids up also.
Okay, so how did you become affiliated with Dream Tech?
One of our poets and her mother are the leaders of that group and that organization.
That's amazing.
Yep.
So are there any other organizations that you partnered with over the years?
Absolutely. So like I mentioned, we do partner with Avalon Village, and we work alongside of Avalon Village actually a lot with a lot of right now they have the hip hop hood camp going on, and our DJ goes over there to teach the kids how to work turntables and DJs and stuff like that. Obviously, we work directly with the city as often as we can for like the youth events, youth explosions and stuff like that. We just had one this past weekend where we was able to partner with Carlton and his nonprofit organization to bring our energy out there for our entertainment and everything. Also, our health center that we have over on Midland, our outdoor health center. I make sure that I go over there, work to volunteer to make sure we keep that thing clean, keep watch over there. And sometimes when I'm over there, I even help our seniors with using the equipment, with showing them how to use the equipment. So what I will be honest and say that I literally, even though a lot of people know my name, I literally try to move in silence. I
get it.
I literally like to just so everybody who does things within the city, they have my number and they know that they can just call me to show up and help. And so that's what I like to do. I like to think that I can be counted on for any hole that needs to be filled within the city in city events.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So in regards to owning a business, right? Business ownership is not always easy. It's not always peaches and cream.
No.
It's very difficult at times.
Yes.
So what has been some of your biggest challenges as a business owner here in the city?
The biggest challenge that I would say that I have is grants. Normally when I go to to go apply for business grants and things like that, a lot of those grants will be reserved for Wayne County and Detroit residents only. And Highland Park is almost an exclusion, so to speak. And the reason why I say that it's an exclusion because we literally sit right in the middle of Detroit. We are definitely in Wayne County. And for the life of me, I can't figure out why we don't have access to the same dollars as the people that's right around us have.
Yeah.
And I don't think that there are, and there may be specific grants for Highland Park residents, but I've not been privy to those yet. But I've been able to help a lot of my Detroit entrepreneurial counterparts with getting some of these grants because they are available to them.
Okay. So what are some of your largest successes you've experienced?
Oh man, so
I know you have quite a few.
No. So success is easy. Success is touching people and getting and helping them to move to their next phase. So we have one of our poets. He got a chance to open up for the Detroit Tigers opening day and do a poem alongside of Eminem and some other popular artists and things like that.
That's awesome.
I call that a success because that actually developed right out of our space. We had an opportunity to go on CBS and talk about our awesome event, Poetry in the Park. Poetry in the Park on Wednesdays that we have. A lot of people look at it as a safe space sanctuary for them to come to every week to just express themselves. And we deal a lot in mental health. Mental health is a big thing that goes on in our community. And within our spaces that we consider to be a very safe space, people are actually able to come and be exactly who they are, be expressive of the things that's on their mind, and a lot of times walk away with therapy that was unexpected. And the reason why it's unexpected therapy because people don't know that when you come into a space that's filled with love and people who are not judging you, you get filled with things that are intangible, that's intrinsic, that was not necessarily that's not necessarily the goal, but it just naturally happens because of the energy that we provide.
Yeah, I've been there.
So
I've been there.
So our biggest success to me is what we do for the community, what we do for the people who come into our space, and how we help heal. That's the biggest success that I can speak to. It's not money. I don't do this for money. You should be in business to make money. I'm in business to empower people to be the best of who they are. That's what I'm in business for.
That's amazing. So would you say that your business is more nonprofit status or?
We don't carry a nonprofit status.
Okay.
And we just don't. And the more that we do, we learn that, hey, we probably should establish a nonprofit wing, but we get a chance to work with alongside of so many nonprofits that it's like our energy can literally benefit those nonprofits.
True.
And I'm okay with that for right now. Just being able to be on call is a beautiful thing to me. Mm-hmm. To be able to be a servant is a beautiful thing to me, and that's what excites me the most. In terms of what gives me the greatest joy is when I am able to help somebody and bring joy to them. That gives me my greatest joy. So no, we're not a nonprofit, but we do operate in a spirit of nonprofitness. I just made that word up.
You just made a word up.
Hey.
We gonna add that to the Webster dictionary.
That's right.
Nonprofitness.
Yes, that's right.
But I mean, because the only reason why I asked was because a lot of the different things that you're talking about reminds me of how, they're the nonprofits, right? Mm-hmm. And having that nonprofit sector could be a way to pull in those dollars that you need. So that's the only reason why I kind of thought about it. And, because to really pull on those dollars as a 501c3, you can actually get that money not taxable be able to use it to do the work that you want to do
Right.
in the community. So just keep that in mind. And then if there's anybody watching that likes what they're hearing and that want to invest, I mean, hey, reach out.
Absolutely.
Because the more the merrier. And when you're trying to really help out a community, it takes more than just one person. And sometimes one person can make a huge difference. But if you really want to change the outcome, you need to have a group of people. And
Absolutely.
so if it takes a village to raise a child,
Hmm.
what does it take to change a community?
That's
So
right.
keep that in mind. So we're going to transition into some questions in regards to stuff that's happening within the city that you're a part of,
Yeah.
that you like, and things that you may not, right?
Yeah.
But what do you think are some of the most critical areas for economic development here in Highland Park? What are some areas you want to see built up?
Absolutely. What I would like to see is more a larger diversity of businesses from people within our community. What I mean by that is I want to see us on more, I guess, grocery markets or food. It don't have to be a grocery market, but something that offers some type of food option. We have a cool eyeglass place, more factory options, and it can be small factory, just something small. I would just like to see entrepreneurship come out of the community more, because I don't see a lot of that when I go to businesses in my community, and those same businesses are not invested to give back to the community. So when we do have things, functions, and things like that go on within our community, we can't depend on those people to go and say, hey, would you like to support this event in this way, because they are not from here. They don't have any invested interest. And
Right.
so I think that it would be cool if we could have more entrepreneurs that are established from within our community. And the way that I think that would help us economically is because obviously that would close in our circulation of our dollars. So when we spend money right now at those exact same businesses that I'm speaking of, those dollars just go right outside the city.
That's very
They
true.
leave the city as fast as you spend it at the counter is going out the city the same night. And so if we had more people that were from within our community who were taking up some of those spaces, then we know that some of our dollars would stay here longer. So I see that as a huge thing. Also economically, I think that schools, and how do schools help? Because we need people that are homeowners to come in, that are taxpayers, to come in to help develop tax dollars for a school system that will, help bring in tax dollars for our roads and our infrastructure and things like that. But citizens need something to come to, and if we don't have a elementary and a middle school and a high school for your children, then it's less likely that you will want to bring them here. So I don't know what comes first, the chicken or the egg, but we
I know, for real.
but for real, but we need schools, and we need a citizenship that can help also support the sustainability of our community.
So for anyone that's watching that's on the fence in regards to starting a business here, what advice would you give them?
One piece of advice that I would give them is that when you start a business here, the Highland Park treasurer and our business department are the people who come and inspect our inspection department. They are people that you can work with, that you can easily contact. So it's not as much what I would call red tape. We are encouraging people to come here and start businesses, and you can go right down there and get things done in a timely fashion. I've not had any issues with dealing with our city government when it comes to our business, and compared to my friends who got businesses in Detroit, and they tell me what it's like going downtown and the runarounds that they get and stuff like that. I also think that we have a lot of economic opportunities here. We have a lot of space to build up in and around here. We have a lot of developmental sites that's ready for development. We have a lot of sites that could be, brought up to code fairly easy at what I would consider to be reasonable prices for commercial spaces. In addition to that, we are a historic place that sits right in the center of Detroit. We got people who commute from downtown Detroit to go across to Oakland County and back and forth. So if you have a business right here in Highland Park, then you know that you'll see a traffic of commuters. And building up more business here in Highland Park, I think will also increase those commuters to want to drive up here, because they'll have so many options to get either going to work or on the way home to pick up, So yeah, I think there's great opportunity here for an entrepreneur to come here and start a business in Highland Park.
That's awesome. He sounds like a mayor, y'all. I'm telling you, like, he sounds like he got it all put together in his head. Like, that's awesome. So from your perspective, what are some of the most pressing needs for Highland Park residents?
Some of the most pressing needs for Highland Park residents is, we need, obviously, everybody talk about the water thing. We get the water thing. I think we're gonna work towards that. We're gonna get that figured out. The most pressing things for Highland Park residents is to know that they have avenues and options for what it is that's important to them. So whether that's healthcare, whether that's education, whether that's the ease of amenities, of getting to food, just being able to have, which I think is very important, a place to go out and let your hair down. You got to have all of these things that a community needs in order to suit all walks of life. So I just think that we need to continue to improve upon those things. Improve upon our shopping options, improve upon our medical options. I know that we still got the health clinic over on Glendale.
Yep, that's free for anybody who don't have insurance.
So we still got the health clinic still over on Livernois. I know we have a great dental office over here on Woodward, I think in Manchester. We have a great dental office over there. We have markets. We have banks. And we have a whole street, which is called Hamilton, that's sitting there ready to be developed into something beautiful that everybody can enjoy also.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So before we take our commercial break, I got another question.
Go.
And then we can take our commercial break.
All right, go.
So how do you feel about the current state of local government, and what changes would you like to see?
The current state of local government. Can I start with the changes I'd like to see?
Go ahead.
All right. The changes that I would like to see is what I call BTG, Bridging the Gap.
That's the name of my company back in the day. Go
Really?
ahead. It was called Bridge the Gap Entertainment.
That's what's up. Yeah. So, where I feel that is the most needed area is for us to have an alignment between our youth, our Gen Z, our Gen X, to our baby boomers. We have to have a form of alignment to where we have a way to talk to each other. Because this is one area of time, and I really can only speak to my area of time that I'm living in, that I feel like it's a great divide, but it's a great synchronicity because of the internet. So the same thing that they have access to, I have access to, and my older peers have access to. But there's in that same synchronicity, there's a great divide and disconnect because of numerous things. I won't even go into the details of what those things are. But what's most important is that we create a line of communication between all of us to where that communication is fluid. Because we have something to teach from up here, and we definitely have a lot to learn from the ones who's younger than us. But what I feel about the state of our current local elections and politics, I am actually encouraged here in Highland Park because we still have control over our government as a community. We still can, if we get out to vote, we can still make a difference in terms of what's happening right here in the community that we live in.
Right.
And we can touch all of our constituents. We can literally go out and knock on doors and touch everybody in this 2.2 square mile space.
2.9.
Thank you.
2.97.
Okay, 2.97 miles of square space that we have right here, and that's powerful. If I stepped out a little bit further and moved to Detroit politics, I'm encouraged there because I see youth excitement happening. I don't know if it's necessarily translating in the polls yet, but I see the excitement happening at the youth level.
Okay.
Yep. So I'm excited about that, but I do think we still have some ways to grow.
Awesome. All right, so we are going to take our first commercial break. When we come back, we're going to keep the conversation going, learn a little bit more about his thoughts, because he's up here literally sounded like he needs to run for something. I don't know if it's city council or state rep or what, but it's a lot of it's definitely enlightening. So I hope that you're enjoying the show as well. So we will return right after this commercial break.
Your radio is now on TV. Your TV is now on radio. WHPR 88.1 FM can now be heard and seen worldwide. The same platform that hosts all of your favorite content now has WHPR TV and radio. Have your own radio or TV show on Roku with approximately 8 million homes. Debut your music video, clothing line, church ministry, plays, or products. A limited number of slots are available, so act now. For more information, visit RokuDetroit.com or call 313-868-6612. You heard about it. Now come be a part of it. Roku Detroit Worldwide. Approximately 8 million viewers.
Hi, I'm Eric Sabria, your Wayne County Treasurer. If you're living in a home of a deceased family member and you're facing property tax foreclosure, the probate process can be helpful to you. If you file a probate petition and notify our office, the foreclosure proceedings will be halted during the probate process. Contact us at 313-224-5990 or email us at taxinfo@waynecounty.com. We're here to help.
Claudine Jackson thought she had it all until she was faced with the challenges of raising an autistic child. Inspired by autism is her brutally honest journey filled with heartbreak and triumph. Get your copy and find the support you deserve today by visiting www.claudinejackson.tv.
Sorry, you're gonna have to catch the replay on this and catch up from here on out, right? But today has been a great show so far. I have Karan Wilkerson Sr. in studio with me today, so it's awesome having him here. And we've been talking about Rock Local. We've been talking about his engagement, how he done moved down to Texas to Houston. You know, he had to get his life in order and then come back, you know, because he wanted to make a greater impact on the residents here in Highland Park. So it's been a very good conversation, and I am learning a little bit about the mystery guy, right? So because he says he likes to be behind the scenes. Although everybody know his name, he like to be behind the scenes. So one thing for sure, two things for certain: you ain't gonna be behind the scenes when you're on this show. So you're out in the open now.
That's cool.
So
That's cool.
So let's keep the conversation going. So I know that
right.
we talked about the state of local government, but what are some specific improvements or developments you would like to see here in Highland Park? I know you mentioned the like for residents to become more entrepreneurs and start businesses, but what are some more specific things that you would like to see?
Oh yeah. So in terms of specific things, get my list. No, all right. So,
Go ahead, pull the list out.
So no. So some specific things that I would like to see happen here in Highland Park. Let's start with my big wish list. I would like to have
The big wish
my
list.
big wish list. I would like to have, and whoever wins office, somebody just please listen. I would love to have charging roads from 6 Mile to Tuxedo on Woodward. I would love to have charging roads on Manchester from Woodward to Hamilton.
Okay.
All right.
Charging roads.
Charging roads for electric vehicles. It's happening now. It's something that I think that as a city we can definitely position for a grant for. Why? For the exact same reason that I spoke of earlier. We are on a main thoroughway in terms of Woodward. We are the center. We are the middle, and we can be a small experimentation. It's just a small strip of land, but it would also encourage, again, more people who are driving electric vehicles, which are growing rapidly in production through our city. It would incentivize people to want to come and ride through the great city of Highland Park and see what we have to offer, and possibly stop at a charging station and fill up while they go and shop in some of our stores, and some of our hang out in some of our spaces.
It's actually really good. It's actually really good.
So
that's really good.
So that's one of the things that I would like to have happen. I would love to see Hamilton become a diverse community strip. I would love to have Afro-centered strip on Hamilton between some blocks. I would love to have some Asian-centered centers on some blocks on Hamilton. Hispanic. Multicultural strip of businesses on Hamilton. And I think that Hamilton is a prime location for it. I know what the goals are for Hamilton right now, but I think that we can move into some different directions and explore some other opportunities.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the big wish. So what's the little wish?
So
the charging road was kind of that was kind of neat. That was kind of neat.
Yeah, absolutely. So some of the smaller wishes is just for us to reinvigorate some of our parks, which I think that we have some people that's already working and doing some of those things. I know Rashonda is working real hard over there on Monterey at the park that she's working on. Like our fitness center that I just spoke about on Midland. I think that one back on Richton and Lincoln, I know I have some people over there working on that park, and I know some other people who have interest in volunteering their services for that park also. We have Angel Park over here. We just have some nice parks that as a kid were very important to me. I used to love going to, like, what park we going to today, and we go up to Angel Park. What park we going to today? We go over there and climb up on the what we call the pyramids at the Richton Park or whatever. That was something that was exciting for kids. Now I know that kids aren't necessarily outdoorsy as we once were.
That's very true.
But maybe we can find some ways to infuse some technology at those parks that could bring them out. I don't know what that may be, but if I thought to think, I would call the young people and ask them their thoughts. I would tell them to throw me their big wish list at me and get some ideas, some thoughts from them. But that's one area. But just, I wouldn't say HOA, just more block development in terms of like what my friend DeAndre does on Connecticut. He does cleanups on his blocks or whatever, and I'm sure it's a lot of other block leader organizers that's out there doing those things or whatever. That's just one that I can speak to. But I want to beautify our city. I want our city to be pretty. I want our city to look like something that somebody wants to come in and be at. Again, when I look back at when I was young, we had big, beautiful trees that touched from one side of the street to the other side of the street. Now I know we've had some tree planting initiatives that happen over on Glendale. And I think over at another park they had some trees planted. But I would love to become what we are known as, the city of trees again, and just beautify our city some more. So those are some things that I would like to see done.
Okay. So you brought up the idea of bringing in youth and asking the youth, like, what do you want to see happen in your city, right? How can the city better engage its youth and also, ask them those questions, but also to provide them with opportunities for growth and development?
Absolutely. So I think that the first thing that we can do is kind of meet them where they are. I think that forming the Highland Park Youth Foundation or committee is one of the things that Mayor McDonald was looking to do when she did that, is to try to get the youth more involved at, like, let's throw something fun, let's do, and you meet them where they are with the things that they like to do, and then once you get them there, you have resources and opportunities and things like that available to them. Have them sign up, teach them the spirit of volunteering, say, hey, would you like to help out over here, things like that, and make sure that it's something that is right now actionable and tangible for them to do. So I would say meet them where they are, in terms of getting them engaged, to bring them where you are, and then at that point have all of the resources for them to deliver to them.
Okay.
Now, would that be jobs? Would that be schooling, trade schools? Speaking of trades, that would be something that I think would be very impactful for us to start. If we can start any type of trade here in Highland Park. Trades are something that are, I wouldn't say falling by the wayside, but it's something that will always be needed, and we don't have enough tradesmen out there right now. We need plumbers, we need electricians, we need masons, people who know how to work with cement. We need people who know how to work with cement, and we have people here in Highland Park who have those skills, who know how to do each of those things. So maybe building those type of programs and bridging the gap with some of our older people who are experienced in those fields, have them teach some of those things. That's the program that I'm actually volunteering in right now. I'm actually teaching kids construction, teaching them how to use saws, and teaching them how to use a measuring tape, teaching them how to read fractions and converting into pie charts and stuff like that. And these are kids that's on the spectrum. So this program is dedicated to kids that's on the spectrum. We need those programs for all of our youth, and it needs to be accessible, and accessible in a way that's not cumbersome to the people that's involved. So what I like about this program right now that I'm working in is that the interns get paid. They get paid for showing up. Now, should we be in a space of incentivizing kids with pay to get them to learn something that's going to benefit them in the future? Old school, probably not. This new school way, we probably have to do that, because we are in a space where immediate gratification is a thing, and we can't ignore that it's a thing.
Right.
We are also in a space to where now responsibilities of young adults are far more greater than the responsibilities that we had as young adults. I didn't have to pay a cell phone bill or think about a cell phone bill at 17, 18 years old. It's not something I had to think about. And then the other things that come along and around that, we are in a space to where sometimes inside the homes it's not financial stable enough to help provide that kid with the opportunity to just get back and forth to those programs. And so incentivizing them with a small financial stipend would not only probably lift their spirits, but it could also be helpful for them to continue with the actual program.
Okay. Yeah. That's really good. So how important is it in preserving the heritage of Highland Park? Because that's a big thing here.
Yeah.
HP is HP, and so what steps can be taken to achieve this?
So the biggest steps that I think that we can take in preserving the heritage of Highland Park is for Highland Parkers to move back. That's one of the biggest things. But and also for the Highland Parkers that's here to continue to assimilate with the youth Highland Parkers. Because again, I know I keep going back to bridging the gap, but that's when I like to think that I stand in the middle. I'm 47 years old. My best friend is 70, and I hang out with 20 and 30-year-olds majority of the week. Yeah. So I like to think that I stand in the middle. So I hear it from both ends a lot. But in order to preserve our heritage, the ones who are here, who love and know and care about Highland Park the way that I do, and a lot of other people that I interact with do, first we have to be the ones to continue to vote for the people who are interested in preserving our heritage. So
big time.
That's the most important thing. And then we have to continue to encourage people who have the spirit of our heritage to come here and to act, not to just be here, but to act and be involved. What is the heritage of Highland Park? If we identify what that is, if we like kind of say, hey, from a educational standpoint, Highland Park was, to me, one of the best school districts in the city. When I played sports at Highland Park High School, the conference that we were a part of was the Suburban Athletic Conference, which was the SAC, and we played schools like Brother Rice and Country Day, and schools that. I wrestled, so we you might not have played them playing basketball, but we wrestled, and so we got a chance to like interact with our sister schools. As a matter of fact, I think Grosse Ile was one of our sister schools.
Wow.
Yeah.
Grosse Ile.
Yeah, I don't know if it was. I don't know if it was when I was going to Barber or when I was going to Highland Park, but I know for an absolute fact that Grosse Ile was one of our sister schools. And my educators in Highland Park, I can speak to them. They cared. When I talk about Miss Alexandria, she was my speech pathologist teacher or a counselor from the time I was in kindergarten until I graduated in 12th grade. She made sure that my speech impediment didn't ever go back to what it was, which is why I'm able to speak to y'all today in somewhat of an understandable dialect, awesome. Because I was bad when I stuttered real bad. I had a real hard time with pronunciating certain letters and words and stuff like that. And she was committed to my growth when it came to speaking. I had principals, Mr. Connerly, my science teacher, Mr. Krieger. It's things that they taught me that Mr. White, my math teacher, Mr. White, my math teacher in Barber, he went and got an accountant from the Chrysler Corporation in Oakland because it was a few of us in our class that he felt we were advanced. And so he wanted to teach us. He wanted to have somebody come teach us a higher level of math. And so he had this accountant from Chrysler come over and start teaching us calculus while we were in middle school.
Wow.
He went and did that on his own. I'm sure he had to do whatever he had to do on the back end to get it approved, but that was something that he went out and did.
Yeah.
When I was in Highland Park High School, they started a program called peer mediation, where they sent us out to a Wayne County school to learn how to talk to our peers, how to handle conflict resolution right within our own space, to where an adult didn't necessarily have to do it for us. They let the peers handle it. But they sent us out, me and a few other students, out for that training so that we can learn those things. So our education system was pretty cool. So that's one of the things that I look at as part of one of Highland Park's what our culture is. So that's one of the fabrics of Highland Park. Another fabric of Highland Park is our sports. We got Reggie McKenzie Fieldhouse. We had several great athletes that are known that came right out of here in Highland Park, and we developed a whole lot of other a host of other great athletes.
Yeah.
So that was something else that we were known for. We were also known for our sharpness, just being sharp, just dressing nice. We got our own Highland Park style. But we were also a community, like everybody. We're still like a small town where everybody knows everybody. And so like when you say that like everybody knows who I am, I don't even feel special in that regard. I feel like I feel like that's a Highland Park thing,
Yeah.
I just feel like it's a Highland Park thing. So now I may or may not be a little bit more, but that's a spirit of Highland Park that I picked up. That I can walk to from Tuxedo to North to Portage, and I can hang out with these people and absorb my community and get to know these people. Like I know people from all corners of Highland Park. And so the spirit of community is another thing that I think that's like intrinsic to us. So those things, and just having control of our government.
Yeah.
I think that's huge. I don't want somebody to come in here who looks at the potential of Highland Park and then try to make Highland Park into what they envision it as in their head. That's not conducive to what the tradition of Highland Park is.
Okay.
I very much would like to hold on to the fabric of Highland Park for as long as humanly possible.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So speaking about community and the different events or programs that take place, what are some of the things you would like to see as far as community events go?
As far as community events, like we had when I was young, we had the big old carnival that came every year on Manchester.
Wow. Okay.
And it was a big to do. Everybody looked forward to that carnival coming in the middle of the summer. Where everybody got a chance to meet up with everybody. You got a chance to see the other kids that you didn't always get a chance to see from other schools and hang out with them. And it was just like a real big old cool community organized carnival. And it went away over the years for the reasons I think all of us are most familiar with. But I think that the where we are today, it would be a perfect time for it to come back, because I don't feel, and I think that I'm pretty much connected to the pulse of the city. I feel like we are at a place to where Highland Parkers are we are endeared to one another, and I think that we know how to enjoy good times together, and we show it every day. So I think that like a carnival would be dope. Just a big carnival where everybody knows about it. A lot of the events that I go to right now, that's Highland Park Center, is pockets. When you go to the event, what pocket of people promoted that particular event. I want to break those barriers. I want to cross. I want to cross political barriers. I want our politicians to be chummy in the hallway. And what I mean by that is that the impression that I have of Capitol Hill pre-2008 was that they argued it and had spirited debates inside of the on the floor, and then once they got outside the floor, they were able to have chummy conversations, because that's how you move things and get things done. I want to have that spirit. I know we have differences in opinions about a lot of things. No two humans are ever going to think alike. We are not supposed to.
That's true.
We are made to be individuals, but what's most important is that we find common ground and we find ways to get to the same goal. Because I know for an absolute fact that everybody want to see Highland Park come back to excellence. That's a common goal. We may have different thoughts in terms of how to get there. We may even have different thoughts in terms of what excellence look like.
That's
but
very true.
Let's have a conversation in a very diplomatic way. Let's have a conversation. Let's see what it is that's important to you. Let's ask, why is it important to you? Why do you feel that way? Because don't nobody care how much you know until they know how much you care. And if you're not showing care to someone's concerns, then they're not going to hear you. You're not going to hear them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would like to I would like to see us kind of continue to work alongside. You know what I'm saying?
So speaking of that, how can residents like yourself better communicate their ideas and concerns to officials?
For one, I could do a better job at showing up to the city council meetings and talking. I can also just do a better job at making sure that I stay attached to all of the different groups that are out there in Highland Park, whether it's Highland Park alumni, whether it's concerned citizens of Highland Park, whether it's the Rep Your Class events, whether it's the house that Jack built, whether it's the hall that's over on Hamilton, whether it's Highland Park House Entertainment and what they continue to do in the community. No matter what it is, I just keep my ears glued to each one of those sectors, and I make sure that I'm present at each one of them. So that's how I intend to continue to get my message out there, or the message out there, to say, hey, we need to continue to work on these things, continue to do these things. Anybody who has an open ear, I'm willing to have a conversation.
Yeah.
But what I'm mostly interested in is listening to what it is that is hindering us right now. Listening to what the things that's creating these divides, that's creating this, this burr, we
back and forth.
Yeah, the back and forth. We should be able to find ways to work through those things.
Absolutely. Yeah. So being more involved, being
more present.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So I know we're coming close to end time, but just for those who might be tuning in right now, your vision for your vision for the future of Highland Park is what?
Yes, my vision for the future of Highland Park is, for us to continue to grow our citizenship by encouraging people to move back to Highland Park, but we have to give them incentive to do that. The incentive that we can do that, to give them to do that, is by, one, focusing on our education system, two, focusing on what we can give to our citizens in terms of resources to become whoever they're trying to become, whether that's just, how do I take care of my family, or how do I start a business, or what options do my family have if I do bring my family there? What's my potential to be able to buy property in Highland Park? So yeah, just continue to create resources for our citizens, continue to build on the community engagement. So making sure that we continue to work to bring all groups together. Again, I'm going to continue to reach back to bridging the gap, making sure that we are talking to our seniors, that we are talking to our youth, and that we are finding the synchronicity of the alignment between those two things, so that we continue to bridge that gap. And beautifying our city, continuing to work alongside of people like Avalon Village, who worked hard to bring Blight to Bright, and continue to build up our community and listening to those things, but also leaning on the tutelage of our citizens that's currently here, the people who are have skilled trades like plumbers, electricians, carpenters, masons, to get them to be involved also in our community with our youth, to see if we can somehow pass some of those skills along or encourage them to go into journeymanship. Yeah, and again, last thing, resources. What you need: food, medicine, entertainment, education. These things, continue to work on and build those things up in our city.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And what advice would you give to fellow residents about getting involved and making a difference in their community?
Find something you love.
Well, that's it can be as simple as that, right?
Yes. Find something you love, not and bring us your ideas. So if you love something, you might love something that we've not even ever touched on before. You might love rock climbing. And you might have a passion for showing people how to, grab the right rock. And I don't even know how rock climbing works, but you may come and talk to us. Come talk to me, at Rock Local Entertainment Cafe. I got a group of young individuals that love spurring ideas and bringing them to life. So let's talk about what you love. That's how I would encourage people, because people will get up to go do what they love without a question.
Very
and
true.
So that's how we find alignment. Let's find out what you love, and then let's see how we can somehow put that into the flow of what we're doing to help build community engagement.
Hey, that you can't get. That was such a great answer, because just like you said, if you love what you're doing, it's never work.
It's never work.
It's never work, right?
Yeah.
So that's awesome. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Absolutely.
If you are just tuning in, you've missed an incredible show. Like, he needs to run for something, okay? I'm going to keep saying it. But it was really good having you here to hear your thoughts, to hear just your heart, because that's basically what you poured out today, was just your heart in regards to Highland Park. And so I commend you on all the work that you've done and that you will continue to do. I know we'll continue to cross paths as we always do.
Absolutely, you know
but
that.
I do want to encourage anyone that is watching that is not involved to get involved. Go to the city council meetings, go to the block club meetings, go to the different events that's happening in the city. Find what you love, like Karan said, and give that back to the community. Come up to Rock Local, get involved, even if it's just coming up there a day or two a week, just pouring into the youth that are available. So what are the hours for Rock Local before we go off air?
So the hours for Rock Local, we are 9 to 5.
Okay.
Monday through Saturday. And on Sundays, we are closed, but come knock on the door. We just might be there.
All right.
Yeah.
So if someone wants to be able to reach out to you, how would they go about doing so?
Okay, you can reach us at, if you're on Instagram, I_rock_local. If you want to just reach out to me individually, Koron, Koron Wilkerson. You might find me and my son, but I'm sure you'll find either one of us fairly simple by typing that name in either on Instagram, Google, Facebook, Twitter. You type that name in anywhere, we're going to pop up.
Okay, and the address, because
the address to Rock Local is
12527
Woodward Avenue. Rock Local Entertainment Cafe is at 12527 Woodward Avenue. But if I just can take a small plug, just Google Rock Local Entertainment Cafe, because I love my Google reviews and my Google searches.
All right, so they're right there next to the BP gas station. It's that door closest to the gas station
yep.
off of Glendale and Woodward. So again, thank you so much for joining me here.
Man, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
You know it. Anytime, man. Anytime. So again, get involved. Get out into the community. Come out to some of the events. If you can't get out and you want to be a part somehow, still reach out to Karan, and he can help with whether it's the youth. Somebody can come knock on your door to get you plugged in any way that they can. And then also continue to reach out to City Hall if you have questions. People are there more than willing to help, right? Mm-hmm. So just do your due diligence. If you want to see Highland Park blossom, we got to be a part of that as well. So everyone has to do their part, right? So
absolutely.
It takes a village to raise a child. We're not raising a child, we're trying to build a community, so it takes way more. So we need all hands on deck. And Karan, again, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me again.
Watching the Highland Park Spotlight, or you have watched, because we done. You have watched the Highland Park Spotlight. I'm your host, Keisha B, and I will catch you next time.